When people hear semiconductor lithography equipment, they immediately think of ASML from the Netherlands, EUV. But in today's news, I see a signal that back-end lithography is quietly moving into position as the other lead actor in this story. The company in focus is Japan's Ushio Electric. It may look unassuming at first glance, but this one is going to matter.
Hello everyone, I'm Ty, with 31 years inside the semiconductor industry. Today, I'm covering Ushio Electric's new lithography system, the UX59113. Why is this good news for Japan? And I'll even cover Ushio's one clear weakness. Stay to the end and you'll understand exactly where the real competition in back-end lithography is being fought.
First, let me give you a quick mental picture of what lithography is. Think of screen printing, pressing a patterned plate onto fabric to transfer a design. You ink the plate, press it onto the cloth. In semiconductors, it's the same idea. A circuit pattern is burned onto a substrate using light. Two things matter: how fine the pattern on the plate can be and how easy the material is to work with.
In the front end, making the chips themselves, it's like printing ultra-fine lines onto a small, perfectly flat sheet of premium paper. We're talking lines thousands of times thinner than a strand of hair. The world champion here is ASML of the Netherlands with EUV. The entire game is how fine can you print. But back-end packaging lithography is a completely different challenge. The material here is large, stretches and shrinks when handled, and warps. On top of that, traditional plates are small. To cover a large substrate, you have to shift the plate over and over, printing section by section, stitching the image together piece by piece. And that stitching is where things get difficult. If even one seam is slightly misaligned, you get a defect. This is the so-called stitching problem. Getting every seam to align takes time. So even though you want to print big and fast, the seams drag down both yield and throughput. The point here: print the whole thing in one shot with a much larger plate. Zero seams. That's the core idea behind today's Ushio machine. But, and this is a plot thread for later, there is a fundamental limit to how fine a pattern a larger plate can hold. Keep that in the back of your mind. Now, back to reality. Ushio Electric holds, by their own disclosure, roughly 90% of the global market for package-substrate lithography systems. That means almost every semiconductor package inside a smartphone or PC went through a machine they built. This is a strong fact.
That same Ushio unveiled a new machine, the UX59113, at the trade show JPCA show. It's the latest in their flagship UX5 series, planned for commercial release in fiscal year 2026. The target? Precisely the large format package substrates that the industry is moving toward.
One key spec: resolution, 1.5 micron line and space, and it can expose an area of 100 millimeters square or larger in a single shot. In the analogy I used, one big plate, one print, this is exactly that, stitchless. It also supports 510 by 515 millimeter panel formats and glass substrates. Another quietly powerful feature is automation compatibility. The machine is designed to integrate with automated substrate handling systems and AGVs, autonomous guided vehicles. Back-end factories are aggressively reducing headcount right now. This machine is built to fit exactly where that trend is going. Ushio has also put significant effort into scaling up their core light source, the lamp, in both size and brightness. Now, here's the key point. When you hear 1.5 microns, you might think, that's a lot coarser than EUV. And you'd be right in absolute terms. But this is where it matters. Back-end lithography is not a competition about fineness. The world focuses on resolution, but the real battle is being fought somewhere else entirely. The real test is this: can you accurately expose a substrate that is large, warped, and dimensionally unstable? At speed, at scale, with consistently high yield? That total production capability is what matters. Single-shot large area exposure is the clearest expression of exactly that capability. Ushio's 90% share wasn't built on optics alone, in my view. Over decades, they built up process know-how side by side with substrate manufacturers on real production lines, recipes that get a tool through factory qualification, conditions that keep the line running without stops. You can't buy that from a spec sheet. This accumulated field experience is the real moat. That said, Ushio has one clear weakness. It's the plot thread I flagged earlier, resolution. The UX59113 is at 1.5 microns. Meanwhile, Nikon, which is entering the back-end space with a digital lithography approach, is claiming 1.0 micron capability. AI chip routing layers, the RDL, redistribution layer, are going to keep getting finer. Today, 1.5 microns is enough, but the day will come when customers demand finer geometries, and 1.5 microns becomes a hard ceiling. That, in my assessment, is Ushio's single biggest risk. There's also a competitor worth watching, Onto Innovation, a US company that's virtually unknown in Japan. They bring lithography plus inspection, metrology, and correction software all in one package. They read the substrate's distortion and compensate for it algorithmically. That's a fundamentally different competitive angle from Ushio's volume manufacturing approach. They're not even playing on the same field. So, what's Ushio's move? My read? First, lateral expansion. Lock in gains where they're already strong in substrate lithography. Take every available win in that space. Then, over the next several years, channel those profits into the next offensive push. Defend with volume, fund the future. That's the playbook I see them running. Now, what this means for Japan. In front-end lithography, Japan lost to ASML completely. But in back-end package lithography, Ushio is still playing at the world's highest level. As AI drives chips to grow larger and more complex, the importance of back-end lithography only grows. This is a position Japan genuinely still holds, and it matters far more than most people realize. Let me wrap up. The UX5911 isn't a coarser version of EUV. It's evidence that back-end packaging lithography has grown into a world-class equipment technology in its own right. Ushio's strength, large area volume production. Ushio's risk, the resolution ceiling. The competitive threat, Onto Innovation. And the key question, can Ushio's lateral expansion strategy buy them enough time to reach the next level? I'll be watching closely. That's all for today. I'll keep bringing you semiconductor news and analysis. So if you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Ty on Semiconductor News Decoded.